Every November, thousands of writers partake in NaNoWrimo, National Novel Writing Month. The goal is to write 50,000 words in 30 days. But for someone like me, who has a full-time job, a spouse, friends, family, and other things that I like to do, it's just not sustainable. At least, not without a high risk of burnout. So this year, I'm doing my own version of NaNoWrimo. If you stick to the end of the video, you'll see how my month of November went. The highs, the lows, the output, but most importantly, the sustainability. And if I do this right, I might just create a system that I can replicate in future months and future years, and maybe something you can replicate too. Let's get into it. Look, NaNoWrimo isn't inherently bad for busy writers. It can teach some great lessons about writing consistently, letting go of perfectionism, and it can give you a brief glimpse into what it might look like to write somewhat full-time. But in order to hit 50k words in 30 days, you have to average 1,667 words per day. For most of us, that's a couple hours at least of writing. So by the end of the week, you're putting in 15 to 20 hours of writing. If you have a full-time job, that is crazy hard to do, at least to sustain. 2 years ago, I participated in NaNoWrimo, and I succeeded. In fact, I didn't only write 50k, I wrote 74,000 words in the month of November. What happened was, I burnt out like crazy. For 2 straight months following that, I wrote 0 words, not a single word in 60 days. And I needed that. I was so tired of writing because of how hard I pushed myself in that NaNoWrimo. I want to offer something different, something that still achieves the same benefits of NaNoWrimo, but without the risk of burnout or discontent. So what's this going to look like? Why am I calling this a different version of NaNoWrimo? This month, I will be systematically scheduling time blocks for when I will be writing and for when I won't be writing. But how is this different than NaNoWrimo? Because you could just do that for NaNoWrimo. The difference is I'm not letting myself get carried away. I will be writing during those blocks that are specified for writing, but I will not be writing outside of that. I'm going to force myself to not push too hard, to make it sustainable and enjoyable during those times that I am writing. If I do this right, I will be eagerly looking forward to those timestamps that I'm writing, and I won't be feeling the forever need that I could be writing right now instead of doing XYZ. So in some ways, it really is still simulating what it's like to write as a job. I have my time that I clock in and I clock out. Outside of that, I'm free to enjoy life. Let me show you exactly what this is going to look like with my calendar. So this is what my calendar looks like. Anything that is purple, that is writing time. So you can see I've littered those throughout the month. Some weeks have more, some weeks have less. For example, this first week, I'm pretty heavily focused on writing. The week directly following that, and the week after that, I only have 2 days where I'm specifying writing time. Anything that's in green, that is stuff for this YouTube channel, like filming, editing, things like that. Anything that's in blue, that's for a different YouTube channel I have, that is a TTRPG channel. Anything that's in brown is a podcast that I do with a friend. I know that might look like a ton. I mean, I work 40 hours per week as a physical therapist, and I'm filling almost every day of the week with stuff. But I get up early before work, about an hour and a half early. That's how I've set my internal clock from my sleeping habits. So I can do that before work for about an hour, feel great about it, go to work. I get off work at normal times, and I have the whole evening to just kind of hang out. It's sustainable, it's achievable, and we'll just see how it turns out. I'm not going to film every day. I'll probably film a few times throughout this month to check in, let you know how I'm doing, how I'm adhering to it, and then at the end we'll do a recap. So let's do it. All right, everybody, hello. It is November 16th, so we're one day past halfway through this month. I want to show you guys how it's been going for me. Let's take a look at the calendar. So I got this here. November 1st was a Saturday. That was a designated writing day. I did write that day. Actually, that was my last day on a vacation, so I had a lot of free time. So I wrote a lot that day, and you'll see that here in a second. But the rest of these next 2 weeks so far, if we look at it, did I stay on track? So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 writing days total that I had scheduled. I actually ended up writing 7 days because Tuesday the 11th here, our session for our TTRPG channel was super short, so I had a lot more free time on my hands than I was expecting. So I took the time to write a little bit on that day. So basically what I'm trying to say is I've actually adhered to this really well, and I honestly haven't felt super busy. As you guys have seen, we've done a lot of stuff, so it's been fun to hit these goals and not feel overwhelmed or stressed. And I'm also, like I said, not writing every day, but I'm still putting up some really good numbers for November. So let's go look at the word count. So this is my spreadsheet for the word count. If we scroll to November, like I said, that first day, I was on vacation. So 5,000 words in one day is a ton of words, but I also wrote for hours. That wasn't just a 1 to 2 hour thing. But then consistently, I've been putting up 2,000, 2,500, 2,600, 3,000, 1,500, 3,000, 2,500. Those are high volume days. Now, that is because I'm writing a new book. So these are brand new words, and I tend to write more when I'm doing drafts rather than revising where I'm just nitpicking sentences and paragraphs and such. But still, this is great output. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those days I didn't write at all because I'm not forcing myself to. I'm scheduling it in. But hey, we're halfway through and I'm at 22,484 words, which isn't that far off the mark if I was trying to do the true NaNoWrimo, but I feel no stress, so it's going well. All right, I'll probably check in at the end of the month. So whatever we do in this next half month, I'll take some videos and put them on here for you. Let's get to it. Hey everyone. So a little unique thing here. It's actually December 27th. Yeah, so I didn't film the end of this for another full month. It's just busy and had other things going on. But I think this actually worked out well because now I can talk about November, but not only November, I can talk about December too. Because I told you guys I was hoping this would create something that was sustainable, that I could continue. So we can take a look at how December went. Now, this is a green screen. This isn't my house. That'd be sweet. But no, I got a green screen here for when I film other stuff, and I was too lazy to move it out of the way. So, how did it go? That second half of the month? Well, it went very well. In total, throughout the month of November, using my version of NaNoWrimo, I wrote 33,668 words. That's successful. Now, the true NaNoWrimo is 50,000 words. I didn't want to burn myself out, so I didn't write every single day. But when I did write, it was efficient, and I had planned it out exactly as I described in the earlier of the video. I should note that I adhered to it exactly. The days that I had planned to write, I ended up writing. and it went very well, like I said. So let's take a look at the breakdown of this. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at November starting up here. So I wrote a lot on the very first day. We've already gone through this first half, so I'm going to go quickly. But you can see here there were not that many days I didn't write because I scheduled it in. They did spread out a little bit here in the center of November. But then again, I started writing consistently like I had planned to by the end of the month down here until we got to 33,000. I'm very pleased with that. So like I said, what about December? Because I ended up doing the same thing. I planned out when I was going to write, and I did adhere to it. Not only that, so right now it's December 27th, so there's still some days of December left, and I wrote so far 40,000 words. So I actually upped my writing from November. Now, part of that is because I had less other stuff to do, so I dedicated a little bit more of those days towards writing. Plus a couple of weekends days, because the weather here hasn't been great. It did just snow, so we're going to go do some fun stuff. But for a little while, there wasn't much to do outside, so I wrote over the weekend a couple of times when we were kind of hanging out at home or at a coffee shop. So let me share my screen for December. Okay, so you can see here, especially in the beginning, there weren't that many days off. So like I took Thursday and Saturday off of the first week. I even wrote Sunday, like I just explained. And that was kind of the case for a little while. And then things started to regulate out after a while, especially holiday season. Like I didn't write Christmas Eve, Christmas, or since then. I might write a little bit today, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, so all of that pretty consistently. You can see this Sunday I wrote 9,000 words. That is a ton of words. And that was, I wrote for like 5 hours. So that was a long, long time of writing. I just had nothing to do that day, so I dedicated it to writing. So for a total of 40,439 words, I crossed the halfway point of my book in this month. So now I'm at, I think, 56,000 or 56% through the book, which is awesome. The whole point of this video was to see if I could create something that I thought was healthier, more sustainable, and achievable for us aspiring authors who write our stories and work 40-hour per week jobs like I do. I'm a very busy person. We do a lot of fun things, but I was still able to achieve this, and I loved it. I didn't feel any burnout. In fact, I was more motivated to keep writing because of that momentum and that progress bar that was going up. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, if you felt like this could be something beneficial to you, go ahead and give it a try. I highly encourage it. And also, if you found benefit from this, like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting more stuff here in the future. I know it took like a month off before this video, but once the new year starts up, I'll start making some more videos. Especially, I'm going to have a video here coming up soon that shows my entire year's worth of writing, where I was successful, where I wasn't, and things I learned from that to help me keep going into 2026. But all right, everybody, this was fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.